Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Mini Books Podcast with your host Gloria and Rogan, and today we are excited to dive into Special Book with you. We picked this one because it has really important lessons to share and we can't wait to talk about them. So let's get started. All right, let's talk about building wealth.
Okay.
Specifically, the kind that comes from investing in companies so strong they could weather any storm.
Right.
We're diving into The Little Book That Builds Wealth by Pat Dorsey.
Yeah.
And trust me, this one is packed with insights.
Oh, absolutely.
You'll want to be taking notes on this one.
This book is a classic for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Dorsey really nails down this concept of economic moats.
Yeah.
Those unique advantages that set certain companies apart and allow them to consistently outperform the market.
You want that long-term success, right?
Yeah.
The kind that comes from investing in businesses so fundamentally sound, they're like fortresses in the economic landscape.
Right.
That's where moats come in.
Mm-hmm.
They're the protective barrier, the secret sauce that can make all the difference.
Exactly. Think of it this way. A moat isn't about just having a cool product today.
Right.
It's about having something sustainable that prevents competitors from taking away market share, even years down the line.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Okay.
Dorsey throws out some hard truths right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
He says most people mistake fleeting advantages for true moats.
Yeah.
Big mistake.
Big mistake.
He uses the example of Kodak.
Yeah.
They were the kings of film, but completely missed the digital wave.
Wow.
Huge market share, but no real moat to protect them from those disruptive forces.
What's fascinating here is that it highlights how important it is to understand the difference between a company's product and its underlying business model.
Okay.
A great product doesn't automatically equal a great business, especially in the long run.
So true.
Yeah.
It's like assuming a bakery with amazing croissants is automatically a fantastic investment. You have to dig deeper.
Exactly.
What about having a charismatic CEO?
Sure.
Surely that's got to count for something, right?
Dorsey would say it's a bonus,
Okay.
but not a moat in itself.
Okay.
CEOs come and go.
Right.
But a strong business structure, those inherent advantages, those are what endure.
Okay, so how do we spot these elusive moats?
Right.
What are we really looking for?
Dorsey breaks it down into four main types:
Okay.
intangible assets, switching costs, network effects, and cost advantages.
Okay.
Think of these as like the four pillars of a truly untouchable business.
Right. Let's break those down.
Let's do it.
Starting with intangible assets.
Okay.
What comes to mind when you hear that?
It's not about secret formulas, if that's what you're picturing.
Okay.
It's about things like strong brands, patents, and regulatory licenses.
Mm-hmm.
Think about a company like USG. They make sheetrock,
Okay.
which is essentially just drywall.
Right.
But their brand is so strong, so synonymous with quality,
Yeah.
that they can charge a premium over competitors selling practically the same thing.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So the brand itself becomes a moat, allowing them to maintain pricing power and keep those profits flowing?
Precisely.
Wow.
And then you have patents, which provide legal protection for a company's inventions.
Right?
Think pharmaceuticals or tech companies.
Mm-hmm.
Those patents give them a huge advantage, at least for a while.
Right.
And then there are regulatory licenses, which can be incredibly difficult to obtain. Think about utilities or telecom companies.
Right.
Those licenses create a huge barrier to entry for potential competitors.
So with intangible assets, we're looking for that special something a company has that others can't just replicate easily, giving them a significant leg up in the marketplace.
Exactly.
Got it.
Now, the second type, switching costs.
Okay.
Those are all about making it a real pain for customers to jump ship, even if a cheaper alternative pops up.
I've definitely experienced that.
Oh, yeah.
Once you're locked into a certain software or platform,
Right.
switching can feel like such a hassle,
And companies know that.
right?
Think about QuickBooks.
Oh,
You've spent hours, maybe even days, setting up your entire accounting system.
yeah.
Are you really going to go through all of that again just to save a few bucks on a different software?
Probably not.
Probably not.
It's like the dread of switching banks.
Right.
Nobody wants to deal with that paperwork nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
You get comfortable even if it's not perfect.
That's customer lock-in in action.
Right.
And it's a powerful moat.
Yeah.
Dorsey calls it the just one more razor blade model.
It makes those companies sticky.
It does.
Like once you're in, you're in.
Yep.
But what about those businesses that seem to get stronger with every new customer or user?
You're talking about network effects.
Yeah.
And this is where things get really fascinating.
Okay.
This is the beauty of platforms like eBay, right?
Right.
The more buyers and sellers they have,
Right.
the more attractive they become to other buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
It's a self-reinforcing cycle that creates a powerful competitive advantage.
So it's like a snowball effect.
Exactly.
The bigger the network, the faster it grows,
Yeah,
and the harder it becomes for anyone else to compete.
exactly. It's like trying to launch a social media platform when everyone's already on Facebook.
Right.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Dorsey uses the example of Yahoo Japan.
Okay.
They actually launched online auctions before eBay even entered the Japanese market.
Oh.
They captured that network effect early on,
Right.
and eBay eventually had to throw in the towel.
That's a powerful lesson.
It is.
Even giants can be defeated by a strong network effect.
Absolutely.
It's like those businesses are playing a whole different game.
They are.
Yeah.
And think about it. This applies to more than just tech companies.
Sorry to interrupt you guys. If you're enjoying this podcast, then don't forget to check out our official YouTube channel, Mini Books Podcast, and subscribe for more great podcasts like this one. Okay.
Look at Western Union, for example.
Right.
Their vast network of physical locations for money transfers gives them a huge edge, even in a digital world.
Yeah.
People trust that they can send and receive money from practically anywhere
Mm-hmm.
because of that network.
Okay, I'm starting to see network effects everywhere now.
Yeah.
It's like this invisible force that connects it all.
It is.
What about companies that just seem to outmaneuver the competition on price?
Sure.
Those that are just masters of efficiency.
That's where cost advantages come into play.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
Dorsey warns us against confusing a temporary cost advantage with a true moat.
Okay.
Just because a company outsources its call center to save a few bucks
Right.
doesn't mean they have a sustainable moat.
Right. Anyone can cut costs temporarily.
Exactly.
Got to be something more structural, more deeply ingrained in how they operate.
Exactly. Think about companies like Nucor and Steel Dynamics.
Okay.
They utilize a mini-mill process for making steel that's significantly cheaper than traditional methods.
Okay.
The old guard steel mills are stuck with their outdated infrastructure,
Right.
putting them at a huge cost disadvantage.
So it's not just about being cheap.
Right.
It's about having a fundamentally different and better way of doing business that others simply can't replicate easily.
Precisely. It's like having a secret weapon,
Right.
but it's not a secret. It's just smart business.
Right.
And sometimes those cost advantages come down to simple geography.
Well,
Think about a company with access to a unique resource,
okay.
like a quarry for gravel,
Right.
or a prime location in a city center.
Right.
Those are advantages that competitors can't just conjure out of thin air.
Location, location, location.
There you go.
It applies to businesses just as much as real estate.
It does.
But hold on a minute.
Okay.
Don't we also have to be careful about those companies that look like they're killing it with growth,
Yes.
but maybe there's not much substance behind it?
You're reading Dorsey's mind.
Okay.
He calls them growth traps.
Okay.
Just because a company is experiencing rapid growth doesn't mean it's built to last.
Right.
That growth needs to be fueled by a genuine sustainable moat,
Right.
or it could evaporate just as quickly as it appeared.
Right. It's like those trendy restaurants that everyone raves about for 6 months and then they're gone just as quickly.
Exactly.
You want the place that's been consistently good for years because they're doing something right.
Exactly. Sustainable success.
Right.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
And identifying companies with real moats is the key to finding those long-term winners in the market.
Okay, so we've identified these amazing companies, these economic fortresses with their moats and their competitive edges.
Right.
But there's one crucial piece missing from this puzzle, right?
Absolutely. Even the most stunning castle is a bad investment if you pay twice what it's worth.
Right.
Dorsey really drives home the importance of valuation, figuring out what a company is really worth, not just what the market currently says it is.
He makes this great analogy to buying a car.
Yeah.
You wouldn't buy a car without knowing the price, checking it for hidden problems, right?
Right.
Investing should be no different.
Exactly. And yet, so many people dive headfirst into the stock market without truly understanding what they're buying. Dorsey reminds us that a company's value boils down to one thing:
Okay.
the cash it's going to generate in the future.
Okay. That seems straightforward enough.
Right.
But how do you actually predict the future cash flow of a business?
Well, that's definitely where the art and science of investing come together.
Right.
Dorsey gives us a framework for thinking about this.
Okay.
How fast will the company grow?
Mm.
How much will they need to invest to keep that growth going?
Right.
And how risky are those future cash flows?
But that's where those moats come back into play, right?
Exactly.
A company with a wide, durable moat is probably going to have more predictable cash flows
Right.
than one that's constantly fighting off competitors.
Exactly. It's about looking at the bigger picture.
Okay.
Dorsey then dives into different valuation methods, price multiples, yields, intrinsic value calculations.
Okay.
It might seem daunting, but he breaks it down in a way that's approachable for any investor.
Let's talk about those price multiples for a second.
Okay.
I feel like everyone throws around ratios, like the price to earnings ratio, the PE ratio,
Yeah.
but how much weight should we really give them?
It's easy to get caught up in the numbers themselves,
Right.
but Dorsey stresses the importance of context.
Okay.
A high PE ratio, for example,
Right.
might be justified for a company with a wide moat and huge growth potential.
Okay.
It's all about comparing apples to apples,
Right.
or in this case, similar businesses in similar industries.
So it's not just about finding a company with a low PE ratio and
Uh-huh.
calling it a day. We have to understand what's driving that number.
Precisely.
Got it.
Dorsey wants us to think critically
Right.
about what's behind those numbers.
Okay.
Is the PE ratio high because the company is overvalued?
Right.
Or is it because investors are excited about its future prospects?
Yeah.
Answering those questions is how you separate the true opportunities from the potential traps.
He also talks about looking at yields,
Yes.
those measures of potential return on your investment.
Right.
Instead of just focusing on a company's stock price,
Right.
you can look at its earnings yield or its cash return yield.
Yields give you another lens through which to evaluate an investment.
Okay.
You can compare a company's yield to, say, the interest rate on a government bond,
Okay.
which is generally considered a very safe investment.
Right.
Suddenly, you're comparing apples to oranges.
Seeing which one offers the most appealing potential return for the level of risk you're taking.
It's all about finding those hidden gems, right?
Right.
The companies that are maybe out of favor at the moment, facing temporary challenges,
Right.
but have that solid long-term potential that the market is overlooking.
That's where the real opportunities often lie.
Yeah.
Dorsey encourages us to be those contrarian thinkers, the ones who are willing to dig a little deeper and form our own conclusions,
Right.
rather than just blindly following the crowd.
Yeah, that's what I appreciate about Dorsey's approach.
Yeah.
He equips us with the knowledge and tools we need, but he also emphasizes the importance of doing our own homework
Right.
and making our own informed decisions.
He's not giving us a get-rich-quick scheme.
He's providing a framework for thinking about investing in a way that can lead to long-term success.
Yes.
It's about understanding the why behind the numbers, not just the numbers themselves.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into The Little Book That Builds Wealth,
Yes.
Dorsey leaves us with this final thought-provoking question.
Right.
How can you become better at figuring out what a company is truly worth?
That's the question.
What are the subtle signals, the often overlooked details that reveal a company's real value?
It's a journey of continuous learning and discovery.
It is.
And Dorsey has given us an invaluable map to navigate this fascinating world of investing and building wealth.
Absolutely. If you're ready to embark on that journey, I highly recommend picking up a copy of The Little Book That Builds Wealth and exploring Dorsey's insights further. And be sure to join us again next time as we take another deep dive into the world of knowledge and ideas. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to dive into more book insights and key learnings, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Mini Books Podcast, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. We're back every Sunday at 9 a.m. with new books and more to learn from. Until next time, take care, keep learning, and keep growing. Remember, this is Mini Books Podcast.